Hi everybody, my name is Christine. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you saw my last video, I know I said that my planner stack was coming next. I had actually filmed it, but I wanted to film something else first and something I'm more excited about. So if you know, I am currently on maternity leave. This is my last month of maternity leave. And I have a little bit of time. Not a ton, because I do have a newborn, but I have a little bit of time because I have our regular nanny who comes part-time is still coming part-time in the hours that I would be at work. We haven't changed her schedule. So I have a little bit of time here and there. So as a treat to myself, as the last thing I get to do while I'm on maternity leave is I'm gonna let myself set up a new planner. And it's not going to be permanent, I think. We'll see. But I am going to give myself like the simple joy of setting up a new planner. If that does not spark joy for you, I understand that completely. But for me, like when you set up a planner, when you're like, writing like dates like 1 to 30, 12 times over and over and over, for me, that's a little bit therapeutic. There's something very therapeutic about that. Like setting up my planner for the next week every week is very therapeutic. For the next month is very therapeutic. So for me, this is like a treat. Like I get into a flow state. So this is what I'm going to do, and I'm really excited about it. I really wanted to film it. So just if you haven't seen any of my videos, this was my 2024 Common Planner from Sterling Ink. I loved it. It worked perfectly. For 2025, I went with the Twines and Paper Weekbook Hybrid. And it's working fine, right? It has everything that the Sterling Ink 2024 planner has. But where the reason I am getting antsy is because it has 2 weekly sections, right? So if you know anything about the Twines and Paper, you know that it has a horizontal weekly with a ton of open space and a vertical weekly. Theoretically, in my mind, when I was buying my 2025 planner, I thought I was so excited about this, and I still am, to be fair. I'm very excited about this idea. I have a lot more space to work on. The reason I'm getting antsy, though, is because if you look at my weeks, because I'm on maternity leave and I don't have a regular weekly schedule, it's like blank. Like my whole planner is just always blank. And it has been for the past, the whole of 2025 so far, right? I had a baby in late 2024. So this is kind of what my weeks have been looking like. And to be fair, in March, April, May, when I plan to be back in work, like kind of like full throttle, this might work. This system of the 2 weekly sections might work great for me, in which case I'll go right back into this planner, and that's that. It'll work for me, the way that Sterling Ink planner has worked for me. However, currently I am struggling a lot to fill in this space. I use it as kind of like scratch paper, notes paper, things I want to jot down, memory keeping here and there, but it's a lot of weeks it's been blank. It's been the things that I put on this spread and this spread have also been redundant, and I hate redundancy in my planners. Like I hate writing the same thing twice. So I have been kind of like about the way the weeks have been looking. Otherwise, it's been great. There's some things that I loved better in my 2024 that I've made my best effort to kind of translate into the Twines and Paper, but it hasn't been perfect, of course, like nothing can be, but I've been trying my best, and there are things I love about this planner, and I'll probably just come back to it. At least I'll give it a fair shot once I go back to work to see if I can use the weekly sections more effectively. So that brings me into what I'm going to try for 1 month. For the month of February, while I have a little bit of time, this is what I'm going to try. A few weeks ago, I got an ad for the Laurel Denise Portrait Planner. And if you know anything about Laurel Denise, from what I have very quickly gathered on her website was she's all about monthly spreads and weekly spreads being in the same view, right? So like you can see both of them at the same time, instead of having a full monthly spread and then have to flip through to find your weekly section, or like having a tab on it. So for some reason, it just stuck with me, and I can't stop thinking about that idea. And she does it kind of like in a Dutch door style. So if you know anything about bullet journaling, it's when you cut parts of the paper so that you can see more than one page at once. So the portrait planner specifically has a kind of a short monthly section on top, and then the weekly sections, you'd be able to flip just this section over and over for all the weeks of the month. And I thought that was so genius. Like that was so creative, and it's something that I just want to I have to like get that, scratch that itch of seeing it for myself. However, so I actually tried purchasing the Laurel Denise portrait planner, but it's out of stock, and I don't think it's coming in stock until like fall, right, when the 2026 planners will come out. But I just have to like try it out. So I'm not trying to copy Laurel Denise in any way. Like, I'm not trying to like impinge on any copyright issues, but I do want to try that planner for myself. I would have tried it in my Twines and Paper or any other notebook I have. However, for Dutch store style, if you don't want to like cut the margins of the paper, I elected to go for a spiral bound, right? So I can just kind of rip it out. This is just like a $10 planner that I found off Amazon. It's from the Kokuyo brand, and I like that the spiral is like, it's called like a soft spiral, right? So, it's not like the hard metal bound spiral, right? It's like this like kind of plastic soft. And I don't know, it just kind of appealed to me. And it has only 70 pages, and the paper is nice and soft. It's not Tomoe River paper at all. But that doesn't really make a difference to me. I don't use fountain pen that much. So I don't watercolor or anything like that. So I'm completely fine. All I'm going to be using is my Uniball and Tombows. So I'm okay with the fact that it's not, this special paper. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to try this for 1 month. I'm going to try it for the month of February. I'm going to set it up today here. I like really want to do this, so I made time while I have a little bit of help to do this. And because I'm crazy, just in case this ends up being like perfect, everything I want in a planner, which I actually don't foresee it being, but I'd be happily surprised if it is. I pulled the parts of all of my planners that I love and I know I would want in a year-long permanent planner for 2025. So I went in and I know like, okay, I need this spread in my whatever 2025 planner ends up being, whether it's a Twines and Paper or this DIY planner that I'm making myself. What spreads am I going to want? I marked all those off. I already kind of put Post-its to indicate what those are. And if this ends up being successful, I will absolutely like film or like at least go through what I've decided. But for today, because I don't want this video to be hours long, I'm just going to film myself making the February spread, because that's the month we're in, and it's what I want to start using, today, tomorrow, whatever. So here's the plan. I already like counted out all the weeks of the year, and it's gonna fit pretty perfectly. I have like 6 pages left over, in addition to all the other collections that I want in this personalized DIY planner. The size, just in case you're interested, they call it an A5 on their on the Amazon site, but it's actually, I don't think it's actually like A5 as in what like Sterling Ink or Twines and Paper would consider. It's just, the width is almost a B6 and it's just a little bit higher, so it kind of made sense for what I was looking for. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. So for February, I'm gonna go in and I'm going to create these spreads. So February starts a sixth week of the year, and it goes until week 9. So I'm allotting this many pages for a monthly and weekly. So first and foremost, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delineate where the weeklies and monthlies are going to start. This is the only section basically that I'm leaving for my monthly. So this is going to be basically the left side of the month, and the last page of February, this much, is going to be the right side of the month. And then I'm cutting off basically all of this in the middle sections. And this is going to be week 1 of February, week 2 of February, week 3, and week 4 of February. So if you can kind of visualize what that means. I'm sorry, I keep hitting my stand, but I'm going to try my best not to do that. So I already went in when I had a little time last night, and I marked it in pencil. So I really, I'm pretty much set up. I just need to actually do the cutting and writing part of it. So here's what's going to happen. So the monthly is going to be a little bit like short. And in future months, if, the proportion of this to this, months to the week might change. But I did want like 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. at least in my weekly. So that's why I set it up the way I did. But you know, that can change in the future. This is a DIY, so I can kind of do whatever I want. So I think the best way to go about this actually is just like bite the bullet and cut this part first, because I think it'll help me kind of see like what's going on. So I know I'm going to cut it like halfway into this grid. So I'm just going to mark that like really, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just going to mark that like very lightly. So it's approximately in here, just so I have an idea of what's going on. And then I'm just going, so I'm not going to cut this side, right? I'm only cutting the middle pages. And then I'm just going to go in and cut. Like, I just have to do it because I can like hem and haw about this all day and like change my mind 15 different times. But I'm just going to go in. I think I'm going to do all 3 pages at once. So this is 3 pages, which means 4 weeks. And I'm just going to cut, hopefully as straight as I can. Or should I do 1 page at a time? Ooh, I'm getting nervous. Okay, I'm just gonna cut because I can talk myself out of this. Okay, I cut that. Okay, I just ripped it. It's okay. And then, so these 3 top parts, how easy is this to rip? I'm gonna cut it, I guess, because I don't want to mess up the spiral. Okay, and then I can just slip that out, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, so that's cut. So this means that, I'm just gonna put my hand here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This is the left side of my February monthly section, and this is going to be the right side of my February monthly section. I'm going to start Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then a monthly to-do list. And my weeks are going to be the same Monday. So the point of the Laurel Denise is that the monthly Monday and the weekly Mondays kind of line up. So you see the whole month, what you have coming up, in addition to all the weekly views, and all the days of the week would line up. So the one thing that I know I'm so interested in this idea, but for me, I don't actually use this as a future planner. So the idea that I'm going to see the month and see the week at the same time, it doesn't make like 100% sense for me, if I'm being completely honest. However, I'm still going to just do it. Like, you know, if it makes absolutely no sense to me, then, you know, great. I'll just go back to what I know. For the rest of this video, I'm just going to speed through the writing and part and then I'm going to come back in the end and kind of flip through the whole February section, so you have a much better idea of what I meant. Okay, so see you on the flip side. Okay, that's honestly all the effort I am prepared to put into this right now, because if this is like my one and only week using it, I just don't want to like decorate too much or anything like that. So if you look at what's going on, there's a couple things I don't like about it already, but that's okay. It's a work in progress. We're practicing, and if it's great, we'll work on it again next week. So the month, I can see the whole month. There will be weeks, I'm sorry, there will be months where there's actually, I need 6 rows of weeks, right? Because if it's like a longer month, so I'm gonna have to kind of work on the like I said, the sizing of the months versus the sizing of the weeks. I don't like there's no separation between the month and the week here, and that's gonna be a problem only on the first week of the month and the last week of the month, right? Because in the meantime, I'll be able to see like the whole thing, and there's like a little bit of separation anyway. But maybe next time, if you know the setup is kind of similar, I will pull the weeks down so I have one empty row before starting the weeks. But otherwise, this is pretty much how I use my weeks anyway, like 9 to 8. I rarely have appointments before or after that. I time block a little bit, and then I fill in the rest with my to-dos. And if I have a little bit more space, I do like meal planning, but I'm thinking I can figure out somewhere else to do that, because you know, but if this does work out, like I have like a 2025 cover page that I wanted to put in. My year trackers, I have 3 habits that I like to track, and I like to track it on like the January, February, March, April, May, June, like a full calendar views view pages, like I did in my Sterling ink, like kind of like this. This is kind of how I like to track some of my habits. So that's probably gonna take up 3. I had a date night log that I wanted to put in, a goal setting page like they do in Sterling ink, which I love, a Q1 spread, Q2, Q3, Q4 like they do in Sterling ink, which I loved, a weight journey, and a kind of tracker, like a full year's weight journey tracker graph that I wanted to maybe put in, a reading tracker for the 4 months of the year that, for the months of the year that I draw out kind of as like a calendex, like a lot of the planners, book-bound planners have. So I left 4 pages for that. And then this is where January would start. So there's going to be plenty of space like in my quarterly trackers where I could theoretically write like meals or do more intense habit tracking that, you know, like I said, if I love this, maybe I'm going to definitely go in and kind of fill those in when I have time. And I'm going to try to film some of it. But for now, this is like the only week I set up. And if I like it, I will probably try to attempt to decorate a little bit more. But like I said, this is pretty much as much effort as I'm going to put in. Let me know what you think. So like this is all inspired by Laurel Denise. So, you know, her planner is available probably for 2026 if this does appeal to you. But I just, I really want to like just try it out and see what comes out this week, and then maybe I can check in at the end of the week and show what it ended up looking like. So obviously, like if you compare it to my twines and paper, like the amount of space that I have, the amount of space that you have in like a monthly spread here versus the amount of space you have here, obviously you can't compare, right? But I you know, I have 3 lines. And if I write small, I can always fit in more. So on the few days where I have a lot of stuff going on that I'd like to memory keep, then I can always write it in there. But for now, let's just see how it goes. Like I'm like really happy with the way it's set up. I'm a very minimalist planner to begin with. So I have my week to-dos, my vertical weekly for the week, and then my month. And then on Sunday when I have a little time, I'll probably come and set up the next week, see what worked and what didn't work, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so let me know what you think about this. I'd love to hear some feedback. If you have any better ideas and like spacing and things like that, I would love to hear it. But maybe if this works out, I'll film a new planner stack, including this. So final thoughts. I'm not giving up on my twines and paper. If I get very, very busy, like I said, like I can imagine that this, dual weekly spread is actually going to work really well for me. But while I have a little bit of time, I'd love to just kind of play with it and like scratch that itch I have. And for me, setting this up was very therapeutic. I took a bunch of breaks because, I have kids, but, this was like really fun, and I can't wait to fill this in a little bit with, obviously I'm filming this on the 4th. So, we'll back plan one day, but I'm super excited to see what this looks like with a full week, and especially what it looks like when I have a busier week, right? So when I do go back to work, what's that going to look like? And fingers crossed, that might be the last week of February, so maybe I can keep this up and see if it works out for a full week when I'm back at my job. And if, it doesn't. And I have plenty of planners to fall back on. So we'll check in there again, but I'm really excited to just kind of see how this goes week by week. And then, maybe in the end of the month, I can do a big wrap up and how this worked out, if I'm going to continue it for March or if I'm going to go back to my old, planners. Yeah. So, leave me some thoughts. Thank you so much.